we could build Salesforce department in IT company who was previously not focused on the Salesforce. So let's first of all take a look into example how these IT companies actually start in work with the Salesforce area. So there might be two potential situations. First potential situation is that when we have some IT company who, for example, specified in mobile development and Java development, and then they find out that at this moment on the market there are a lot of interest in the specific area, as they could try to open a new department, for example hire some specialists or retrain one of the or a couple of existing specialists and try to let's say play in that new area. So it's a first possible example when first of all IT company trying to build that department, and after that it's trying to generate the clients for that specific department. So second possible scenario, it's when for example we have existing IT company, already existing clients for that company, and here was request from some client that hey, like we're looking for the services related to Salesforce. Do you have any kind of expertise? Do you have some experts who could actually help us? In that case, if previously that IT company was not working in the Salesforce related areas, there might be interest, and if budget is interesting, so in that case, that company could actually try and find out some experts, hire them, and in that case, that client will be satisfied, right? Because he got the services, so he from one IT company getting, a call required specialist. Sometimes it's very useful, and it's not required for that company to look for different vendors. So in that case, IT company starting to get a new, requests from the clients related to Salesforce. And one of the idea about it is if that IT company starting with just that, right, from one client, they got a couple of requests, completed it, and they could see that, like it's a good, let's say, potential to grow in that area. What they could potentially do, they could ask other clients or at least notify them, right? Hey guys, like we have, I don't know, like previously completed 100 of the project. So here is, like list of our contacts with whom we could actually collaborate. So you could just notify them that, hey guys, like we are happy to announce that at this moment we have a new area where we would like to grow. So at this moment we have our new Salesforce department, we have experts, and if you have any kind of request, just let's say have an idea that from our side we could also now provide this kind of services. So at this moment, what we are doing, right, for that IT company, we are using list of already existing clients in order for us to get the first pool of the projects, which might, like give proper workload for our new Salesforce department, right? Because if for client one, we, for example, hired 5 different Salesforce developers, and at this moment we don't have any kind of other project. So in that case, there will be, like one of two possible ways, right? One of them is to requalify these persons. Another one is to just, like resale them or just fire them. So in that case, if IT company will decide to continue to work with the Salesforce, as I mentioned, first pool of let's say a potential project should come from already existing clients, right? Because already existing clients knows, like what is, like culture of the IT company, how they doing work, and they, like could expect that new departments that they build it related to Salesforce actually will work in the same culture and with the same, like processes, just with another technology. So in that case, as I mentioned, it's a good idea to generate first pool of projects. But when it's working, sometimes, like you could get from that list of the clients some long-term project, right? And you could, grow your Salesforce related department. But sometimes, like here is not enough for IT company. But if company is still interested in that area, so in that case, that company will have to, like increase level of visibility. So what does it mean? So that means that that company, if it previously was to exist in the market as just, for example, Java company, mobile development company, now need to make sure that all corporate resources actually incorporate a new chapter, a new page, which will explain their experience in the Salesforce related domain. So once it will be done, so all potential other clients, right, who is just, let's say, a prospect, who is coming to the company website and previously were not able to see that there any kind of experience in the Salesforce, will be able to see, okay, so now that company, like is also doing Salesforce related stuff. So there are two potential or a couple of potential ways how to generate new clients. So first of all, when we worked with our existing pool of the clients, we actually generated list of potential leads for our projects. So next potential pool might be from the brand of the company. So what does it mean? So when the company built its own brand, so it could incorporate into its brand, as we mentioned, a new area, right? About what they are taking care of, Salesforce. So in that case, they need to make sure that now it will be, like that company will be known in that domain. So how usually these IT companies actually starting, or what they could use, what kind of strategic? One of the strategy is when they will just notify via regular manner, like via emails, via some marketing offers, to other companies, like they will send information that, hey guys, like we're providing Salesforce related services. So if you have anything, please contact, let's discuss, like so on and so forth. Just brief, like introduction about that company. So next point, it's that specific IT company could present in the local to the specific, let's say, area, internal events. Let's imagine that, for example, in Europe somewhere or in USA, that company who started built a new Salesforce department, starting to participate in different kind of, like idea exchange events, in some tech talks, and so on and so forth. And sometimes they might be really special, related to the Salesforce, like ecosystem. So in that case, in these events, we could expect that there will be persons who is actually represent both sides. There might be potential new hires, there might be potential new clients, there might be some, like potential good reference uh, or persons who could reference that company to somebody else. So in that case, what is important is for that company who's, like starting to do their first steps, like in different kind of conferences, it's to prepare good pool of the presenters. So what does it mean? That even if we have a good technical specialist, it does not mean that that person automatically will provide a presentation in a good manner, right? So in that case, we need to make sure that we have, let's say, provided some kind of trainings for that person uh, in order to be able to present in a good manner, right? So that means that person should know how to work with a big audience, where to make a pauses in their speeches, and so on and so forth. So that presentation that will be done on the specific event should look professional. So it will actually build a first impression on that company from this, like related communities. And if that community will be able to see, okay, so that company it look like using, like latest automation tools in the Salesforce. They're using, for example, latest IE tools in the Salesforce. If somebody would like to, like work with the latest technologies more, they definitely will be interested and they will try to take a look after that session, like information about that company. And here, as I mentioned previously, there should be, some place um, placement page on the corporate website where the person will be able to grab all required information, right? At least he will be able to communicate with someone from the company, ask for the open roles, and so on and so forth. So there should be something mentioned on the corporate website of that IT company, which will actually explain that IT company is actually, like working with the Salesforce area. So another potential use case, it's not just required for the IT company to only participate in events which are related to the Salesforce specifically. They could participate in another type events which are related to the specific industries where that company could suggest or provide their services. So let's imagine that IT company with their Salesforce department were working with the telecommunication area for the clients, and now they build some experience in that area. So what does it mean? That means that they could actually participate in events which are related to the telecommunication area, and they could present, let's say, some specific components, ideas, or like framework that they actually build it for players in that specific business domain. And what is interesting, in general, let's say idea about how to make a business in the specific business domain is the same, right? So if it's, for example, some I don't know, like internet shop, right? So in that case, like if you are starting to work with a new internet shop, idea is the same. You have some products, you have some cards, you're making quotes, you're making proposals, and so on and so forth. And it's the same for like another company, but maybe a little bit under different flavor. So that means that if you already have an understanding, how to work in that specific business domain, if you already, like maybe have some, like library of components done. So that means that you will look interesting for the person who is already players in that specific business domain, especially when you have a project completed in your portfolio. So that means that not only, as we mentioned, conferences specifically related to Salesforce, but also industry-specific conferences. So there are two ways where that company could build their own presence. And of course, we have, like different kind of additional opportunities, like for example, option attend Force event, option to be an app exchange contributor, as I mentioned, with some, for example, industry-specific solutions. There might be involvement into the program as a Salesforce certified partner. So here I know that somebody expects that when that company is qualified as Salesforce, I don't know, like gold partner, Salesforce platinum partner, they automatically getting actually a pool of the project from that specific, like status, and they automatically getting everything what is, like just required for that business to be successful. I would believe that, like it give for that company some additional, like let's say credit upfront of the potential clients that they like did a good investment, right, first of all into their Salesforce expertise, because they, for example, like have appropriate number of the Salesforce certified specialist, right, they have appropriate number of the completed project. So that means that they at least like investing into that domain in their company, and they investing into that department. But actually, biggest companies who is already partners of the Salesforce most probably will get all like let's say interesting contracts, and there will be not really like something that you could expect for somebody who is just, let's say, joined, or like have not such a big size of the company, and so on and so forth, right? So that let's say status is just for the clients to realize that like you are qualified in that area, and they could potentially like work with you, but it's not automatically generate you all potential leads about how you could like get a new client. Once you get involved into that area, you already have some pool of clients, you already build a presence of your IT company in like required industry related layers, into the required let's say local communities. From here you could generate actually your references, right? So different kind of persons could between them discuss that here is a new player on the market, right? So it looks like they have a good expertise, so on and so forth, right? Plus to that, what might be there, right? You could copy one of the strategies which is like already in use. Where some companies who it's already started to have Salesforce as a initial, like let's say trend in their company, right? They just have a sales, right, who is already working in the domain. They using your company brand, like, and based on the portfolio of existing clients, they participating in different kind of like workshops, they're participating in different kind of sales sessions, they're participating in different kind of like industry specific events, and so on and so forth. They're finding an opportunities, right? And then in your department you should have some person who will be able to actually help them to sell. So you will need to have a pre-sale consultant who know Salesforce, who will be able to build proposal, like who will be able to actually help to sell and make a new deal for your salesperson. In that case, as I mentioned, for your IT department, right, if previously here was only experts who helped you to build some specific solution for your client, so at this moment you will need to have someone else, right, or a person who is qualified enough in order to be able to build these proposals. And if those proposals will look fair for the potential clients, so in that case you could get potential leads, right, and after that you could convert them into the actual company client. So all of this, like is good. And we are coming to the topic which is actually related to the new hires, right? So if you continue to grow with your IT company, and you could see that the Salesforce department is, have a good potential to grow, you anyway need to hire, right? And at this moment on the local market, let's say, or in Salesforce domains, there might be different kind of models. So somebody trying to, let's say, hire freshers, educate them, and make sure that they could actually in the future make a shadow development, or for example, do like real development on the project. So it's the first possible manner, right? We are hiring freshers, we educate them, and after that we are getting, let's say, experts. In that case, we need to make sure that we have some education resources, we have some mentors, so on and so forth. So it's require the specific infrastructure, because you could not just hire a person and tell him, hey, like you need to scale up your level, like in next half of year from junior to senior, right? It's a little bit not working in that manner, unless if the person is really focused on, his her personal goal in order to get higher. So another possible strategy, right, is to hire already existing experts in the market. In that case, you already hiring persons who have appropriate experience, they're experts, and you just need to make sure that when you hiring, you actually hiring them accordingly to the needs of the company, right? So if, for example, at this moment you need, like I don't know, like only developers who like know CPQ, and you have someone else, right, who have experience in the insurance, right? But you could not apply that person, let's say, skills or his full existing experience, right, in order for him to work on already existing projects. So it will take some time for the person to, like, to learn the new part of the Salesforce. So it's will take some time. So it really depends, right? If you are just building small department and you have just a couple of clients and you already know what is a project, what is a scope, what is a stack of the technologies that you need to apply, so you know what to choose, right? But it sometimes here is some, like another strategy. It's when that company trying to grow their department up front of the, like project generation. So that means that they trying to build a stack of the developers. Let's say build to 5 developers, and after that, like when some new opportunities will come, they will try to assign these resources to this project. But I would believe that that specific strategies that I mentioned was popular in the past. Mostly at this moment, because Salesforce is so big, companies trying to hire specific candidates for the specific roles. Like, for example, sometimes you could see that on the LinkedIn or other platforms, there are specific requests. We are looking for senior CPQ engineer. We are looking for the Salesforce engineer with experience in integration with MuleSoft and MuleSoft, like related integration, right? So requests becoming more specific because Salesforce becoming bigger and bigger. And each of these areas now, like could be qualified as a separate product where that specific person might be an expert. So that means that, like when we hire in someone with, like bigger experience, sometimes we are hiring that person specifically for the project. And if we are looking specifically for the project, even if that person is very good, right, but don't have a specific skills in that product of the Salesforce, like then company need to decide. Sometimes actually companies use like combined strategy, right, when at the same time they are hiring like strong specialists, plus at the same time they're hiring freshers or like junior specialists, and then they trying to like make a model when these experts will be actually mentoring these freshers, and these freshers will, for example, help on the project. And in that case, the way how these, like persons could be sailed to the new project might be the following. So you are sailing one technical leader who is expert, right? And for example, a couple of freshers. Technical leader making sure that freshers will do what is required. He will educate them at the same time, make sure that the quality of the code is, on a good level. But at the same time, the cost of these developers, like much less. So in that case, there will be a little bit more pressure on the expert, right? But at the same time, it's his work to control quality on the project. So at this moment, I think that we discussed, let's say, some basics. Of course, there might be, like different kind of other strategies related to the company brand, related to the sales strategy, and related to the hiring strategy. But it might be, like topics for the upcoming videos. If there will be some kind of interest, so please put a comments under that video where we will be able to see which specific areas you are interested in for me to make a note in the list of upcoming videos. And at this moment, I think that's it for today, and have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.